Welcome, 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 good people. Now, as we get into this, I say that to say this, right? Say that to say this. Steve Stoute, Dame Dash. Dame and Dash. Very eccentric human being. Steve Stoute, book smart. He grew up with his parents, went to school, went to Ivy League business school. Right? And then the phrase come. Is he Dame Diddy, Dame Daddy, or Dame Dummy? Oh, I get it. You Biggie, and he's Puffy. So when he went out to Dame Dash, him saying that line, is he Dame Diddy, Dame Daddy, or Dame Dummy? Do you want to know what that's about? That's about Nas knowing what's going on. Nas is alert. Nas know the situation, okay? He know what's happening over there, and he know what's cracking. YouTube is showing that I'm not here. That's crazy. It keeps saying upcoming, even though I'm live already. Maybe you should refresh your page or something. I don't know. Now, Steve Stoute went to tell a story about Dame Dash, right? And Dame Dash had to address it because Stoute brought it up. Is you saying it's upcoming for this video right here that we're actually seeing? Because that doesn't make any sense if we're already here. Hit the like button, y'all. Now, Steve Stoute went to break down a story that involved Dame Dash, right? But we'll get to there and we'll explain to you the situation. But I had to take you back to the Etherverse with Dame Diddy, Dame Daddy, and Dame Dummy. Oh, I get it. You Biggie and he's Puffy. Now, the reason that line is coming up and the reason that he was dissing Dame Dash in that situation, Nas was because of the situation that was involving Steve Stoute. Everybody didn't know Steve Stoute at all in hip hop, and he tried to work with some of everybody, right? But nobody Nobody was trying to work with Stoute. Once Nas started working with Stoute, that's when people in the hip hop industry was like, oh, who is this Commissioner Steve Stoute? Like, who's that guy? Who is this Commissioner Steve Stoute? What is he bringing to the table? So now this is all being brought up. It's already being brought to the forefront. Dame Dash is supposed to be a living icon, right? Yeah, yada, yada, yada. Now, listen to Steve Stoute break this down. Because Steve seems to have a habit of doing this. He's another person that tells on himself.
Top of my lungs, screaming it. Avoid record companies. Be independent. Own your shit. It has value. To me, the loudest example of that, that's in plain daylight, is this. Now you got Jay-Z, right? One of the biggest artists ever. And his first album, his former partner owns 1/3 of it. Mm-hmm. And there's value to it. He's trying to sell it. He's trying to do NFTs with it a couple years ago. So for all artists looking at this, you see how that master is the equivalent of real estate or any other asset that's everlasting. So it's an education that if you own something and master recording, it has the same kind of value that you would have if you bought a house that appreciated over time. That's why it's important that artists own their masters, just in general, right?
Now, this is a guy whose whole thing, before he started doing this United Masters thing, he was working as basically for all of these beverage companies, like whether it was Budweiser or all of these Pepsi, whatever. He was the guy that was in between getting these branding deals. So he was basically a branding executive who could bring money to the table through sponsorships. That's how he ran into Nas and ended up doing all the things he was doing. He brought Hennessy in. He brought a lot of other companies in that he worked with. And he was trying to find a way to get rappers to buy in. Most rappers say no to things like this. They don't want any type of business with that kind of entity. Like they want nothing to do with sponsors they feel are not part of the culture. So if they feel you're not part of the culture, they're not gonna rock with you. That's just it. Oh yeah, I got my Demon Slayer whole series over there. I'm finna get cracking. Started from episode 1 again. Yes, yes, yes. Now, why is he saying that? Why is Steve Stoute now talking about owning your masters? He was just basically working for record companies then. It wasn't really preaching masters at the time. Okay. Right. When the St. Ives came around. So Stout was around working with R&B people. R&B people was normally who had the majority of the sponsorships and deals. People didn't want to donate to hip hop at the time. So anyway, when he started working with Nas, that's when people said, well, if Nas said, yeah, then we'll bring this guy along. Then what ended up happening is, champagne bottles got opened up on him when Diddy put the ones and twos on, you know? And Diddy still gonna want to talk to him when he get out of jail. But Diddy can't have no more smoke with nobody.
Number one, use this as an example of why it's important to have ownership of this, because it's an asset that goes with you for the rest of your life. On the Dame side, you have friends that you grew up with, man, and as you pivoted and as you grew, they couldn't jump the fence anymore. They couldn't jump the next fence. They couldn't go. Right. And it don't look good. It ends bad. This ends really bad. The man's, it's embarrassing, actually. It goes from a point where, like, whatever, ha 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 ha, rap beef, you didn't make it, you're not that guy, to like, your teeth is falling out. Yeah. I mean, seriously, your teeth are falling out. You're lying to your teeth and your teeth are falling out. You're trying to create and muster animosity with anybody to create some momentum around some bullshit. You're trying to sell a master and sell a chain with it like people are children. Like, yeah, I want to get the chain for $10 million. Like, are you serious, dog? And then you're running around giving people financial advice like you're the OG. You're not the OG.
Yeah, I mean, it's about.
You can't be giving people bad advice and run around being the OG. Wow. Don't do this. I'm broke because all I do is invest in myself. And no, you're broke because you made bad investments in yourself.
Now, you might be saying, why is he doing this? This the same reason. This the same reason why Dame Dash wanted to sock him in the mouth. I mean, 50 Cent wanted to slap him in the mouth for talking crazy. This the same reason why Diddy opened up bottles on his head. It's the same reason why Jungle wanted to put hands on him. This is the same reason why people don't like Steve Stoute. When it's a lot of people want to open up on you and crack bottles on your head, there got to be a reason. Right? And this is it. Steve Stoute got checked by 50 at that New York Knicks game when he tried to do that with 50 Cent, saying, oh, he's dangerous. His music is, nobody wants that aggressive music no more. Aggressive music? That's only songs that in the club is an aggressive song. Like 50 Cent don't make radio songs. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But at that time, you was working for Interscope. You was no longer branded managing. You was working at Interscope for Jimmy Iovine. Notice he never go up there talking about himself. He goes on to the station to talk about other people who they want him to talk about. It's an agenda. So who sent you to the Pivot podcast to start talking about Dame Dash? So when Dame get upset, this is why he be getting upset. So when all this is going out, I know how Steve Stoute operates. You know, he's a buddy hustler for real. And he'll come in and try to manipulate and get somewhere. Then he talk crap about you behind your back. He's a grimy dude who's not from the streets. But he's enamored with the streets. He want to be there so bad. He want to be that street dude. Somebody, either Leor, Jay, they sent him. Then when Diddy beat you up, you blame Nas for not having your back when Diddy put hands on you. What was Nas supposed to do? That's the part I didn't get. What was Nas supposed to do? When Diddy them put hands on you? Nas wasn't there when it happened. They were supposed to ride for you and go beat up Diddy? Is you crazy? So you gonna fall out with Nas? And what did you do? You ran over to Jay-Z. And all of the deals Nas didn't take. And you was like, man, you scared to be rich. Come on, Nas. You scared to be rich. That's what you used to tell him. You scared to be rich. And Jay was trying to take you away from Nas just as a trophy piece, just to show that he can. And you was trying to get over there to Jay. But he was like, man, I want us to do stuff together. Come on, man. We need to cut this beef out and get some money. It's like, Steve, you never understood hip-hop. You never understood the streets. You never understood what a man was using you long as you see a bag. And everybody should just see the money. Like a real man wouldn't have just did what you just did right now.
Come on.
But he put a bunch of stuff out there, bro, and then even we all watch it. We all hip hop dudes.
Yeah.
What the stuff that Dame says about you that you just have to clear up? Because he said he slapped you over $18,000. He said, I could get a list of stuff that I done heard about.
No. Not only, Dame over $18,000. Dame and I had an altercation, right? We had two altercations. We were in an office at Sony, not at Sony, at his record, we were in the same building. There was like 10 guys in the room. I was by myself, and we got into an altercation. No doubt. Yelling, fighting, whatever. About 2 years later, I seen him. We were on the same street, and it was him by himself. He had two girls with him. I went to step to him. This man pushed the girl in front of me and took off running. The girl he pushed in front of me falls and then sues me. The insurance company pays out her just to not even have lawyers. They just approve it, Steve. They don't even tell me. They just settle, whatever it is they settle is, $30,000 or some bullshit for nothing. He pushed the girl faking to fall on the floor, my ankle, all the bullshit. About 5 hours after that, we're at Kanye's party, and the girl walks up to me and tells me, you don't remember me? I'm like, no. A girl walks up to me and tells me, you don't remember me? I'm like, no. She says, I was the girl who sued you. The money that you gave us, we used to settle out in LA, to move out to LA. Thank you. Wow. That's his woman now.
So that lets you know how far Steve Stoute will go to tell a lie. Does anything of that story sounds truthful? They just gonna settle. The insurance company you got is gonna settle without your knowledge, without anything. They just gonna, what do you think the insurance money they just gonna just pay it and you're not paying for any of it? First of all, him getting slapped was early in his Rockefeller days when he was trying to get in and get close to Jay. Right? Now, why are you trying to get close to Jay? Why are you trying to get so close to Jay-Z? Right? If Dame is the manager, imagine Dame Dash is the manager, right? He's managing and repping Jay. Then what is Steve Stoute for? Jay started using Steve Stoute to get to these brands. And you brought him Heineken. That was you. Got him a Heineken commercial. Thought he was going to get a big deal out of that. You brought in Sprite. Got him Heineken. Mm-hmm. And then you was there to work against Dame Dash. Dame didn't like you from 21 Jump Street. Like, Dame didn't like him in there because he knew, like, you here to distract my artist. Now, if you start that and Dame starts seeing that, Dame gonna go off. And he did. Dame went off. Leor sent him. But see, this is before the real fallout with Leor. This was all brewing. So this was some years later when they, went through their progression. Because at that time, Dame was still living in New York. So when he slapped Steve Stoute in the office, this was like during I think probably during the last of those days. Like, it was I want to say in between the probably before the Black Album came to be. So it might have been Blueprint 2 around that time. But anyway, he made a bet with Dame Dash and didn't want to pay him. And Dame was serious about the money. So when he said there was like 10 guys in the office, one, there's not going to be 10 guys in the office with Dame Dash. It's not going to be there. It was probably some guys in the office, but it wasn't going to be 10. And you were in the building, like, this is a company. Right next door is Def Jam. You got Murder Inc. You got Murder Inc. right there. You had Rockefeller. They all connected. So it's like, what are you doing? Everybody act like Rockefeller was this big major building. You was in the building that Def Jam got, and everybody who got a label got their own offices. DMX got Bloodline Records. He got his Bloodline office. They all connected. Look, Goo could tell you. They were all on the 29th floor. Exactly. So what does he look like? Getting in a fight in the office. He thought Jay was going to save him. And just like the Puffy situation, Jay didn't save you and wasn't going to save you. You made a bet with street dudes and got mad. You had to play the street price. Oh, what's up? Sincerely. Yeah. First member. Yeah, we got memberships now. So people can get their badges on, the whole nine. Yeah, they was on that 29 flow, something heavy. Now, yeah, so when he told that story, it was obvious Dame had another side of that story.
Okay, you're a guy that put your hands on people that didn't hit back.
Mm-hmm.
They got to get you back some way.
What do you mean didn't hit back?
Like you popped somebody, pause, and they didn't swing back at you.
Oh, no, he tried.
Well, he didn't even try.
Okay.
He internalized that. He just asked me, like, yo, did you smack me? And the reason why, if somebody bets you
20 grand.
20 grand and says they're not paying you, what in the street, what happens?
Oh, that's an ass bet.
So that's
you
he
paid
ass
with your
bet me.
ass.
So he ass bet me.
Yeah.
So I smacked him. And he thought Jay was going to protect him, and he couldn't because he was in the office. I'm like, like I said, he's not a street guy, but he's playing with street people. And I just think because of that, that became his mission, because that's how nerds move, to try to make it where, and also he wanted to be Jay's partner.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the guy that was like, I would tell Jay certain things, like, don't do that. That's going to be whack. Like, it's not going to be good for you in the long run. Mm. And I wouldn't let anyone around that rob anybody. Like, on my watch, no artist could get robbed. So that made a lot of people that were trying to rob artists very mad. Mm. So if you look at the people that are painting the picture about me, it's Leor, it's Steve Stoute. And why are they the ones that keep talking about me 20 years later? Because they didn't think I'd still be here. You understand? Like, when you have someone like literally saying that Steve Stoute came to him and said there's a conspiracy against Dame Dash, we're going to put him out of business.
All right, let me play devil's advocate.
Please. But and also,
I'm in a
before
room.
I take this jacket off,
Yeah.
OSG, this is why I'm here, is because there was a principals, the OSG conference at Columbia.
Turn the label towards the camera so
they could see this.
All right.
We were supposed to talk. I was going to bring the mayor, Gary. I had all the principal from the jail that I was talking about, just so I could factually support what I had been saying. And in Newark, there's a block where they have, I could have shit at auction, all these taxes, but bullshit, whatever it was. But at the end of the day, what I was mad about was he was trying to throw a party with Jay. And I was like, yo, we ain't doing that with you, bro. Like, you whack. You know what I'm saying? And you with Nas, because he was with Nas. He was with rather, nigga, he got the lawyer for Un to sue Jay. He was in the hospital room with Un and got him the lawyer to sue Jay. I just can't get past that type of shit. And now you in the...
Yep. Now, let that sink in. Now, remember, he helped him get the lawyer to sue Jay-Z. See, this is back when he was over there with Nas. And your man stabbed and made you take the blame. And then he comes over there to start working with them.
fucking thing trying to do a party with us? You done fuck my deal up with Jimmy Iovine. You done fuck my deal up. You done tried to sign Clue behind my back. Like this nigga just one violation after another. I just was sick of it. Yeah. So, you know, again, I was telling him what I was doing. I'm the guy that, you know, if you had a mixtape, I was the first person to make that a real album. Mm-hmm. And I told him about it. This nigga went behind my back and offered him a deal. So they were signing. They were at the table signing, and Herb called us and told us. And I remember it. And I was with Kurt. Called me the other day. My man Kurt from 3333 called me the other day. Was like, yo, I remember that shit, man. You was laughing. We was laughing because he started busting out laughing because I brought up the fact that niggas had put a wig on him and shit and lipstick like Biggie's crew. And I was like, nigga, you ain't gonna be punking us. And niggas got all I know about you is the niggas had you in a wig. You know what I mean? Oh, we're gonna have to get more Cheetos, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
This is the same Cheetos from the last time I was here.
Take that on the side with you, because ain't nobody over here drinking. Unless you sipping?
No, I'm good.
No, you gotta drink.
I got my cup.
You gotta drink with me.
Of course.
If you don't drink with me, I'm not gonna drink with you.
So, to get the full interview, Angie got it. So she put it somewhere in a vault. So that little bit that everybody got, that's going to have to stay until somebody probably buy it one day. But as you can see, right, y'all see the problem and where it lies. Steve Stoute is a liar. That's what Dame is like. It stings from that, bro. That's what it stems from.
But
and he did it in front of Jay. He did it in front of like people that I respect. So just don't, when you say those,
Tito's.
you need that. When you say those things, just don't breeze past the fact that he asked at me.
Okay.
That's all right. Don't breeze past it. Don't say I just smacked him because I was mad. He disrespected me.
But
he did it in front of Jay. He did it in front of like people that I respect. So I wasn't gonna wear that. But the thing about it is, the reason why I smacked him is because first I told him to leave the office. Like, you need to get out of here. And he looked like he was gonna swing on me. Now, imagine if he would have just caught me, and even if our paws would have washed him, these niggas would have been heating me up because they have high expectations in my hands. Like a punk nigga smack, them niggas would be laughing. Like I've had fights before, and somebody like, yo, it's taking too long, Dave. I'm supposed to be knocked out by now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I hold myself in. That's why even with the poor shit, or even like the fact when I tease, like I could never be mad if somebody teased me, cause I like to snap.
Right.
I could never be mad if someone has an opinion, cause I have an opinion.
That's not true. If you get one in on him, he gonna be mad. Especially if somebody you know. Like that's what he just basically just said. You know, I couldn't let him get off on me with that. There's people I respect up in here. That's Harlem. I'm gonna tell you, Harlem care about that more than anything. Dog, you said that in front of him? Dog, son, I don't mind you say that, dog, but you pull that in front of him? That's Harlem. That's vintage Harlem. It's vintage New York, too. Chi-Town, we're a little bit different when it comes to that. We don't care who there, what. Disrespect is disrespect from the jump. Playing the dozens or not. We don't care who was there. It could be nobody. There could be somebody on the subway riding by. We don't care if he heard it, didn't hear it. We don't care nothing about any of that. It's the fact of what you did that matters to us. We don't care who was there to see what went down. That's the real. So for Dame,
Steve Stoute, or one of them that's been abusing artists that ever said any one of these things that have brainwashed you into believing it?
Nah, I
So
make my own
you came
judgments.
to you went.
I always
forward,
make my own judgment.
But I'm asking you,
Right.
name one other person. You name one.
now,
So we've always had a thing with each other. We want me to say, man, he's in bad shape. He's been in bad shape for a long time. He's not tough. I'm not saying I'm tough. I certainly was not running and doing fucking jumping jacks in the street to get the cops to stop and then had some girl sue me. I didn't do no bullshit like that, you know? But that's him, man. That's him.
You mentioned United Masters.
Yeah.
I saw something where a kid in Play said he introduced you to the music world. He said that you were a shark. You was made for this business. You were a shark. He was a dolphin. For me, it seems a bit contradicting that if you're a shark for the music industry and how the music industry comes across, why would you create United Masters to protect the artists if, in fact, that you're considered, a shark in the industry?
You know, coming up in the business back in the days, you were so excited to be in the business because you love hip hop and you loved all the excitement around it. We were all doing it because it was something that we loved and it was making money.
see what I tell you? Money. Everything about him is money. Sue because it's money. It's like, look, Stout. Let me handle it. You don't know these dudes, these street dudes. Let me handle it.
Would you really
Pause.
label it abuse?
Yes, I abused the niggas.
I don't know if
I smacked the shit out the nigga. You got abused.
that. I don't know if
That's called abuse, bro. I don't care.
as opposed to karma, justice.
Nah, nigga, I smacked him.
That's
But
assault.
then he had it coming.
Nah, it was an open hand. You can't get
The
locked
open
up
hand.
for that. If I wanted to hurt him, I'd have balled up my fist. He would have been on the floor. His jaw broke. He would have had to get plastic surgery and shit. Like Kev Lyles. You had to, you know what I mean? He would have to change his whole appearance.
Yo.
If I thought he was a threat, I would have punched him in his face. I found him to be no threat at all. There's no reason to hit a nigga if he ain't got to get hit.
Yo, I swear
Pause.
to God, like, realizing, like, throughout my career, like, in the early stages, it was like a little Dame just sitting on my shoulder. Just,
Like, fuck this punk ass nigga, right?
yo, smack this nigga.
Yeah, just smack them though, because you smack a nigga, you don't have to do too much more if they don't fight. And honestly, like I said, my cousin closed the door, and I had a broken foot, and was like, I'll give you a fair one. But he chose to go call his lawyer, and his lawyer said, what did he do? Did he hit you with the head with a bottle,
No, I
like
gotta
when you
ask.
told on Puff? No. He open hand smacked me. You don't have a lawsuit for that. So what is he gonna do? He's gonna go and try to have this whole fucking routine and paint this narrative. And 20 years later, because they still saying my name, pause. Like, you got to think about that. He said that shit in public about me. What do you think he says in private to anyone that he's getting money from? And that's what he does. He hangs out with famous people for a living to go and leverage their fame to go get deals. Like, if you ain't...
Now, right there, see? That's what he does. He leveraged relationships to get deals. And now, because of that, the whole world gets to see exactly what we be talking about. I said it the other day. I was like, man, what these fools be on? Like, because some of the stuff they say don't seem like it's adding up to making a lot of sense. Well, when you see a lot of things come your way, there is a certain reason why activities and things like that come your way. You feel me? You know how somebody say something is only unique because of me. They get all that ego and brass. They start feeling it like all this is good because it's on my shoulders. But then at the end of the day, we like, who are you? I don't be knowing these dudes, man. To be honest with you, I don't be knowing these guys like that y'all be talking about. I be wishing, like, man, who is these people that y'all be so enamored by? Who are they? Wish I knew them, because I just don't see them the same way y'all do. Like Steve Stoute. Man, Jungle wanted to put hands on him at one point. They good now, but it was like a love-hate relationship. Because he's like, man, every time he come through, he caused confusion. He's like, Nas, get confused. Because this is what happened with the Bravehearts album and they whole push. Stout came and got in the way, screwed that up. And that's what they was like, man, we don't even need this dude around. Oh, yeah. So to listen to Stout, who take the opportunity to take shots at Dame Dash because he know what Dame said was true. He know Dame smacked the living piss out of him. But it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because he know he didn't do anything back. So he wants to create the narrative of there was arguing, there was fighting, There was no arguing. There was no fighting. You got the shit smacked out of you. And that's that. Straight up. Of course, Mega was the first one to want to beat him up. Because he the one caused the whole riff with Nas. Because he was like, oh, you got a signing bonus and you ain't bring that back to the table? Like, that's it. You out the firm. He's like, what? He's like, if Nas needed some money because he the one helped me get the deal, I'd have broke him off. Yeah, man, I know he got blood clots again in his leg. I ain't want to bring that up, but yeah, it's a whole different subject, dude. There's no backdoor issues with Jay and Pimp C at all.
Famous, he ain't gonna hang out with you because he can't leverage you. And he should have shut the fuck up, or else, you know, I wouldn't be saying nothing right now. You shouldn't have said my name in the interview. So now it's on. And I'm sick of this nigga.
And you're talking about the Shannon Sharp interview,
yeah.
right?
And that's why I'm outside. So that's why I'm like, yo, I went around, looked for the illest people. Because for some reason, people think because I haven't put out music in a while, I can't. And I'm like, look, I could do that with my eyes closed. And I went to Indianapolis, did a show with Freeway because, you know, the project. Mm-hmm. And DJ Watts brought out Kitty Red, who's out there. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yo, fly out to Florida. We do some things my way. And I made a record that's accessible to what people are talking about now because I don't want to speak a different language.
Right.
And she dead nice. And I got Nicolette, I got White, you know, I'm gonna start putting out music just cause, even though I have a television network, American New, but it's just, niggas been fucking with my money, man.
Shout to y'all sound.
You see? They've been messing with Dame's money. And it's never cool to mess with a guy's bag. Trust me. That never comes out good. It's only gonna come up no good. No dice. Yeah, so when you see people get in a lane where it doesn't make any sense, where anything could go down, the scenarios is always on a slant, then you start seeing that there's some propaganda set up against you, right? So you know you got to move in accordingly. You got to move accordingly to a system or a way that they got the game board pieces lined up. Because if you don't, then you getting lined up. It's just the way it is, bro. It's just the way it is. So I never even remembered Dame Dash and Steve Stoute having any interactions at all at that time. Because Dame didn't like him. He didn't like that he was trying to come over there. He didn't like that he tried to have him sued. He didn't like none of that shit. To be honest, he didn't. So when you start seeing scenarios that's like way out of bounds, that's just weird that people would even bring that to the forefront. You would like, you ever hear somebody bring something up and you like, why would you bring that up to me? Like they brought it up just to embarrass you? Yeah, well, when people come through and when they get to a certain level, that's when it's understood more clearly. You know what I'm saying? So, right, it's almost like chill out. Okay, it's what's gonna happen is gonna happen. All right, but just chill out. Like he said, they're messing with him, and that's how rich people do. They try to close doors and opportunities. So anytime Dame is trying to come up, make moves, do something, that's why he should have never mentioned Revolt. Now Revolt will never do business with him on no levels.
I'm dope.
Do you regret the smack now?
Pardon?
Do you regret the smack?
Why would I regret this man? He asked me.
I mean, just realistically.
I don't regret nothing in my life. I'm so happy right now, man. And you've been around me, bro. You see the life I got, man.
I see it.
You've been there. I'm straight happy. I do what I want when I want. You know, people. I don't know. The problem with me is I'm a superhero, and I'm not worried about regular shit that people that aren't superheroes are worried about. Like I'm worried about flying and shit and saving the world. I can't have no regular nigga problems. I'm really a superhero. So the shit that bothers the average person don't bother me, like talking about me or a bill being paid late. Like I don't give a fuck.
I think it bothers you, Dame.
No, what bothers me when niggas cheat and go intentionally and fuck with my money. Cause they fucking with the people that I love money. Cause when I get money, it don't go to me, it go to my family.
Right.
And you understand that. So it's like, bro, you trying to make my kids' life hard. Like, pause, why would you do that? Like, y'all can go eat over there. I'll eat over here. But if you start lying on me, painting a narrative that's false, making people never want to work with me, doing that bitch ass shit, you work with him, you can't work with me. You know how many times I heard that? Like, yo, nah, they can't because he got a problem with this.
And one thing that I find in this industry
especially
is that
BET.
people pick sides.
Oh yeah, BET, Revolt, all of these companies that are aligned with Rock Nation and what they got going on, you're not gonna be able to do business with them. This is why when Irv got the deal, Jay-Z personally walked Irv in there to get that deal with BET because Dame wanted that deal with BET. And once they was like, okay, you got that deal, because Dame had a show. He had that reality show way back in the day when he was on Rockefeller. He was pushing rail. He was doing it wasn't always about Jay with Dame. You know, Dame was no, look, if we got an artist, you know, we got a record label, we got to promote our talent. When they had MOP, Rel, all these other artists, Jay was trying to build them up. I mean, Dame was trying to actually build them up, do house shows straight through the streets. They was just too street for everything, and they just gonna keep blowing stuff up. They're gonna attack the DJ, the sound man, the whole nine. They manager, she was as grimy as anything you've ever seen. They was grimy. You know, the stuff they would ask for, you know, in order for them to perform what they want 2 bottles of Henny. They want this, that. They want 2 chicks, 2 strippers up in the room with them. They wanted people out on the streets with MOP signs screaming for MOP when they show up. Like, it was crazy, these requests. Like, they want to be treated like they stars. And it's like, look, you the manager. That's your job. It's not my job to do your job for you. I was like, that's not gonna happen, bro. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. This part here, well, we ain't showing up. Then you don't show up. Have a nice day. Thank you. I'm not finna, no. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do, and that's what I'm gonna do. That's why I could never work in that industry, because you gotta know who, they gotta talk to the guy that they want that's gonna bend the rules for them. And that was never gonna work with me. That's why people hated to talk to me. You was not gonna get that with me. The manager tried to get you to do the manager job. And it's like, no, that's your job to do that for your artist. Not my job. My job is, when y'all come here, right? X, Y, and Z is gonna be provided for you. Okay? It's gonna be here. Everything that I put on that checklist is gonna be here. Now, you say you wanted a stripper or whatever when she come here, I'll ask a stripper if they want to come here and be here for some photo shoots. I know a stripper. If she gonna come down, I'm not here to try to judge her and say, is she right? You know, that's not my job. I had a stripper there, I had this here, I had that there. Anything with outside, I'm not gonna make people have signs holding it up, praising for you to come in. That's not about to happen. You the manager, you manage to get some of your people, I don't care if they're your cousins, your family, whatever, that's your job. You the manager, you do it. I wish there was more Memphis Bleaks out here. Dame is broke in name. And that's what you want to be. You want to be broke in name. My name should be broke, but my company is rich. And I'm just living off the company. Whatever they want to provide. Well, if you're on my Patreon or you become a member now, you know, we could talk like that. We got memberships now.
You don't even have to ask them to.
I don't pick sides, man.
No, but most people, like, these are two guys that they gonna mend their shit or whatever.
With him, back then, you know, regardless, like, there's still a degree of respect that we have for one another.
Right.
Even if we don't see things the same. And he was Puff's man. So Puff was like, yo, that's my man. And I was like, all right. So we talked it out. And because of the respect that in that moment I had for him, regardless to what, I don't have no problems with that man. So if you really respect your brother, and your brother cares a lot about someone else and he cares about you, then y'all should be able to have a sit down.
True story.
Right.
And it should be squashed right then and there, just out of respect. You don't make a real nigga pick sides. That's for girls, man. Niggas don't pick sides. The fuck is that? You say niggas pick sides, and you saying they not niggas.
It depends on the situation.
To come to me and say you hang out with him, I got a beef with it. I would be really disappointed in my friends if they did that.
Yeah. There's plenty of people that I know that hang out with people I don't like or I don't get along with, but they cool with them. And I'm like, that's cool. Just that when I hang out with you, they ain't gonna be there. You know better than say, oh, can I bring so-and-so? Hell no. If you and so-and-so want to go, y'all go. But that person ain't gonna be around me. Never. There ain't never gonna be a time in the day where I'm gonna sit there and allow somebody to play me like that. Because now I'm allowing the people that I don't want around me to be around me. I know it's like people don't get it. Some people don't have the same ambitions as you. Y'all could look at the same thing and have a different. It's like both of y'all sit there and watch the movie. One person have a whole different thought about the movie, and he been sitting there watching the same movie as you. He think differently about it. You see something different about it. That's just how it goes. Some people are cool just working for people. Some people cool like that. Like that's their dream. Is working for somebody. Like, man, if I get to work with somebody, that would be it for me. I'm good in the hood. They have no ambitions to do nothing else. This is it. And ain't nothing wrong with it. Like there's somebody out there that's just workers. Somebody is good for it and, make it work for them. Not everybody's meant to be business owners. I've seen people try to be business owners who knows nothing about business and screw things up because they weren't fit for it. It was never for them. But to openly try to sabotage a man, it's disgusting to me. Yeah, they always try to come with some nonsense. That's why it don't work. Because they come with nonsense. If they came with logic, if they came with something real, something tangible, then maybe they would get respected. But they don't. It's just some more of the same.
With them is I'm not beefing with nobody from my culture because that's what they want us to do. Period.
But you end up beefing with people from your culture. Because they're the minions.
I'm way more involved now than then. I wouldn't put my hands on them again.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's over. So you got to wear that. Paul, you got to wear that. I'm 53. I'm about to be 53. I'm too old to be fighting.
Never too old for fighting.
Yeah, you are. Because you should be smart enough to not. Fighting is the last resort, bro. It's too
That's a
expensive. From someone I really respect, that's a very tough person. I've seen him like a $200 debt that somebody wanted somebody erased over. Like, yo, not seen him heard about it, but be like, yo, I'm gonna just pay that because I don't even want to do that to you. It's cheaper for me to pay you than to do this to you. Pause. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So certain beefs ain't worth it, man.
I think most beefs aren't worth it.
Pause.
Pause. That was crazy.
I think
That was
most beefs
crazy.
aren't worth it
Yeah. That's really crazy.
And you repeated
That
it?
might go all time like
because I don't
you can
give a
stand
fuck.
on 10 toes,
Because
but
I don't give a fuck.
Every season, bro.
but you grown for that, but I'm gonna laugh.
However,
That's crazy. Some beefs ain't necessary. No. That's because most of these people don't get it. They don't see the grass, the green grass. They can't. And the reason why they can't see it is because it's too close to them. They're too close to it to see it. People gotta get your own. All right, I don't pick sides. I let grown men. I've had friends that's warm with other friends. You know what I'm saying? That we all used to be friends. Now they just warm with each other. And it's like, what's this for? Yeah, on the real. Like, what's it for? Because at the end of the day, you're the one that's gonna look like the fool. They never seem to have your best intentions. When people always say best intentions, they don't have your best intentions. They're just saying they have your best intentions. They don't. There's many of people who have different feelings or input as to what they feel should happen in scenarios and situations. I just try to stay out of it, especially when it's friends. Once you say or give any input to it, you choosing a side. And don't everybody think alike. You know what I'm saying? The person over here ain't gonna think like you. He gonna think he entitled to your friendship and to your loyalty to him. And I'm like, then what is our other boy supposed to think? He not entitled to it too? Is that what's supposed to happen? He's not entitled to that same loyalty. It's just supposed to be to you. You've been knowing me longer. So I'm supposed to get that. So I know my other friends longer than you. So they got more loyalty over you. right? They seniors, huh? So it ain't about right or wrong or just staying out of it and letting y'all handle y'all business the way y'all handle y'all business. Everybody else got to be involved. To me, I don't understand that philosophy. You should never need somebody else to justify your statement. I don't never do that. If I say this is what it is, I'm standing on it because I said it. I ain't gonna say, hey, so and so, yeah, we all united against you. It's like, nobody got time for this. People too grown for these games. People got to stop, being silly. That's what's happening in today's time. We're all growing shorter. The world is getting smaller and smaller. For some people, their windows is closing. And for the Jay-Z's, the Dame Dashes, the Puffies, they finna be great grandfathers. You know what I'm saying? They the old heads now. They the real old heads now. 50 Cent is 50. He ain't the new kid. He can't help it, he hot. You know what I'm saying? These dudes is on their way out. Kanye going after Jay-Z. He loves Jay-Z. Jay-Z love the fact that, man, I want to keep working with him. There's some more money there. And this dude is stupid enough to believe like we family. He still keep trying to come back. You forget Jay was on his album way after that tyrant that he had on The Life of Pablo. When they screwed up his release. And he's on the tour with the floating stage and everything, right? Then he pulls out of the tour. In the middle of the tour, he frustrated, he going through things. He do a show to just go off and talk about Beyonce and Beyonce ain't want nothing to do with him ever since. Not Jay. Jay think it's some money there still. Yeah, Jay think there's money there. So if there's money there and there's money to get, then by all means, go get the money. Man, I got friends that when they see each other, they want to fight. Yo, I ain't cool with so-and-so, man. I'll be like, why? What'd he do? Oh, man, so-and-so did this. I just got an email I had to read. Sorry about that. So it's always about the money. I know friends that's warring with each other who they was friends before I knew them. I met them together. You know what I'm saying? Like at the same time. And then they have a falling out. And now all the other friends that they got is basically held hostage to their war, which makes no sense because it's like, don't use other people to justify your beef. Your beef ain't because of the person, ain't because of the friends. So if you see the friends over there at the house having a barbecue or whatever, why you was at that party? I mean, dog, I ain't got no problems with dude. You got a problem with dude. I told you what he did. He did that to you because you said that. He's saying a different story. What did he say? Ask him. That's your friend. Hell yeah, that mother ain't my friend. So this is the narrative that we got to deal with all the time when you are in a world where people don't know how to express themselves. They literally don't know how to do it. Everything is about drama. Everything is about conflict. But it's how they was raised in their household. That's how it was. Now, who was at fault for it? Depends on whose side you want to believe. The other guy felt he was right. The other guy feel he right. But I'm cool with both of them, and they never crossed me. I seen a lot of things, man, that didn't quite add up with me. So when I start seeing things that's not lining up the way it should, then yes. That's because most of them didn't. They didn't understand the procedures. They didn't understand the situation. They didn't understand what was going on. No, they didn't. So because they didn't understand it, that's how they end up in the situations and scenarios that they did. They just was terrible friends to each other. Because what happened is they grew apart. You always want to make sure you're on point. You feel me? Mm-mm. If you keep down that road, what do you think is going to be the end game? There's not going to be an end game. The game's just going to be over for you. Mm-mm. They don't care about that. Of course, friendships, like, look, just because you get along with these people don't mean these people are good friends. They might not be good with their other friend. Now, I don't know how they friendship. I don't even know how they met. If you meet somebody and y'all friends with them, they've been friends longer than you. They have a longer relationship and history with each other. They fall out. That ain't got nothing to do with you. And these people got money, so it ain't, the beef is not about money. People use money to try to cover up there's a beef. Like they go, oh, okay, there's a beef, so this must be the narrative.
That's that fish scale right there.
That's just from Marshall. So many other people put my shit up.
That's that fish scale right there. Why is it that people still tend to have so much to say about you? I mean, you've been gone for so long.
We
Just
spoke
chilling.
about it last time, right? I'm the person that people copy. So I'm the person that has a tape as a real album.
Damn, they
And
got this so
he
low.
went behind my back and offered Clue a deal, and Clue was about to sign the deal. So I literally, with a lot of Rockefellers and a couple of people from the block, went up in that office while they were sitting around the table about to sign. I had to sit down and say, now, what type of time, you bugging. Like, bro, you're not going to just do that. Like, come and take my ideas, know I'm going to do a deal, and go around my back and do a deal. So literally I had to take those pens and put the Rockefeller deal right there. And part of the conversation is like, yo, like, you a dude that my first interaction was, niggas be putting wigs on you and put lipstick on you, and you don't do shit.
You don't do shit.
So he's obviously not a street guy, but he's playing with street people. You know what I mean? So
Why do you think they didn't have the level of respect that, like, because they ain't gonna try everybody like that?
because Steve is a trifling guy. So he, like, even in my conversations with him, and I'm not lying to you, I'm not hating or nothing, but like he would tell me, like, yo, I hate niggas. I hate niggas. He would tell me that, fuck niggas. That was his motto. And I just think maybe because he got abused by black people a lot, he didn't mind selling them out. So what he's made a business of is getting cool with white people and then getting people like Jay-Z to put their name on a Budweiser can. And that's what I was against. I'm like, how you going to be about champagne? Why would you have that man do a deal with Budweiser?
That's below.
It's just, again, it's like, and also a brand that's known to be for racist people.
Yeah.
So, or why would you put Jay-Z's full name on a $40 sneaker. So, like, no disrespect to Jay, but this was the last time I saw Steve. I had this conversation with him. I'm like, why would you put Jay's name on a $40 sneaker? Jay hasn't been able to sell anything with his name on it since then. You got to remember, there was a time that whatever Jay wore, everybody wore. He was the fly guy. After them stupid ass collar shirts, Yankee hats, he been not known as the fly guy. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect, but we lost a lot of money at Rockwear with that, because at Rockwear they made me order a bunch of them shits to sell a year later. And I'm like, yo, they're gonna be played out. So I ended up with like $40 million worth of fucking dress shirts and cufflinks with cuffling holes that we couldn't sell.
You give them bitches away.
That's why I was like, I'm selling my interest. But the thing about it is, what I don't like about it is, he's been that person, Steve Stoute, that.
Now, what he was saying is, when Jay-Z came out with change clothes and go, once he came out with change clothes and start moving in that way, that's what he's talking about. We ordered all those shirts. And this is what happened with Rockaway. He's telling you what happened with Rockaway, that Steve Stoute is coming in there, changing Jay-Z's mind, telling them to change clothes. And he stopped being the fly guy and started coming with these dress shirts over the jeans. And people thought he was dressing corny. And they wasn't selling. Nobody in the streets was dressing like that. So that's why when Cam came along and everybody started rocking the pink, everybody had on pink. They was like, oh, J.O. Once he started doing the change clothes and go. Once he did all that, it was over. And if I was you, I'd change it too. So when he was changing his clothes and doing the button up, you only did that when you was going to work, you was going to court, you going to church, you going to the club. You don't wear it around like every day wear just to be fly. And in New York, you could wear anything and go to the club. Here, you can't do that. Like in Chicago, you can't do that. And in Philly and New York, they had this army fatigue pants with a jacket. It just looked like, what the hell is this? I mean, I could see if you're going to chill and hang out at the studio, but the club, I was like, oh, you can't get in no club in the city like this. Hell no. So Jay lost his rapport with Harlem. So when he lost his rapport with Harlem, that's became the narrative. That became the pride go before the fall always. But it was more than that. This was more than just the pride going before the fall. This is somebody breaking it down to you, to the pillars, letting y'all know what is what.
When things were in the newspaper about me and Jay, and I go to like a LA read and say, yo, what's that all about? I'd be like, Steve put that in the paper. When I go to Leor Cohen and be like, yo, what's that all about? Steve put that in the paper. It was always Steve. And then even to this year, gets on Vlad and says, Steve came to me and said that we have a conspiracy. We're going to sit down and we're going to put Damon out of business. He said it. So there was actually conversations and conspiring to put me out of business. To make a narrative, to make my name seem like it's something. Because you got to think about what I heard, because I didn't look at the interview. Because it's just like I don't want to be triggered. But what the clips I saw, first of all, he's talking on business that's not his. That's number one.
Speaking on another man's business.
And the shit he said was like, you're number one, not that it's true, but what he said was, I'm running around the world with women, taking pictures with cameras. Like, since when do black people be mad about something like that? Number one. But number two, that means you were so mad that you couldn't get girls that you were actually 20 years later saying that that's a reason to fuck a business up. But in actuality, you could look at it on International Grizzly on America New. What I was doing was I was opening up Rockwear in Europe. And at that time, Jay was going around saying that I'm not doing Rockwear. I'm doing Sean S. Carter. So I had to personally go as an executive and open up Rockwear all around the world. Now, I'm not one of those guys that likes to run around with a lot of dudes. You know, you see me.
Yeah.
So you mad because my company is women? And when you're opening up a brand, aren't you supposed to have cameras?
Yeah.
Doesn't it sound like I was doing exactly what I was supposed to do? What I was doing was expanding our business.
Promoting and marketing.
Now, who are these people I was yelling at when I came back? You ever seen me on tape yelling at an artist other than Clue? And that would be just a conversation and a tone? No, you saw me yelling at Steve Stoute or Leor Cohen or Julie Greenwald.
And you always stood on that.
I don't, I never, I was always fighting for the artist. So if I was yelling at somebody, it was for the artist. So when I'm yelling at somebody, I'm not yelling at somebody for me. I'm yelling at somebody for Jay. I'm yelling at somebody for Kanye.
And that's facts. Dame was all about Rockefeller. And if you didn't understand that, you was part of the problem. Yeah, when they had Armadale vodka, they was in the champagne, and then they was in the vodka. And that's why he was like, man, why are you trying to push Jay-Z on this doggone beer, on this Budweiser and this Heineken commercials and selling them out cheap? But what he didn't realize is that they got massive amount of money for them Reeboks. See, that's what Dame didn't realize. Jay made about probably 40 million off of just the initial deal of S. Carter. The S. Carter shoes. He got like 40 million out of it. That's the part that Dame don't understand. Fifth made a lot more money because his shoes was able to continue. Jay's was discontinued. Because Jay-Z is not somebody that could sell that. You know, it's like Jay is not the guy that can go out and sell a product. Fifth is a guy you could sell a product with. Now, because the 50 Cent was around the Nas situation when Steve Stoute was there. Steve Stoute thought, like, hey, I brought you this deal. We're going to be working together. Phil was like, nah. That was a one-time thing. He didn't like that. So since then, he's had a problem with 50 Cent. You see how that worked? So he personally don't like 50. Then he go on the radio station and think it's cool to bring up 50 Cent's name and try to mention him in things that he shouldn't be opening his mouth about. People have a problem with that. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I understand. If that makes any sense to anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. All I'm saying is I understand. Most of these people were independent back in those days. They didn't even have friends. that would come through and do any of this type of stuff for them that Dame was doing. They own friends wouldn't do for them. You ever had a friend that you do stuff for and they own cousins don't do nothing for them? They own family members look at them like they nothing? You ever wonder that? Hmm? You ever wonder why the majority of these people who claim they love you, they love you so much, right? But they are never around when you need them? You never thought about that? Or, now check this out. Where are these people at when you in your lowest points? Never around. But they always around when everything is good. But when things are bad, they not around. So I understand where Dame is coming from. I'm somebody who get it. You know what I'm saying? I get what he's trying to say. I get what he's trying to bring to the forefront. This is why I hardly ever ask for anything. Most people love being friends with me because they know that I don't ask them for nothing. I don't ask you for nothing for a reason. I don't ask you for nothing because I don't want you to ask me for nothing. Okay? I don't need a liability. Now, I don't mind helping somebody if they in a jam, but I'm not your enabler. You're a grown-ass man. You have to be a grown-ass man. You know what I'm saying? There's no excuse for a man in his 40s and 50s to be sitting around talking about, I got to get my life together. It's like, you in your 50s.
I'm yelling at somebody for Beanie Siegel. I'm yelling at somebody for Cameron. I was doing the yelling so they didn't have to. That was my job. That's what you do as a boss. And he kind of jumped and shit. And I was like, yo, I got a broken foot. And like Steve's the kind of guy that if let's say he caught me one time, my crew would tease me forever. Even if he like caught me and I beat his ass, they'll be like, yo, you let Steve Stoute deck you. You know what I mean? Like Steve's the guy that gets robbed and niggas crack him in the head with a bottle. He tell. And that was another thing is I never liked the fact that he told on Puff. So I'm like, bro, you try to put that man in jail.
Yeah, with the
When he hit him in the head with the bottle, like he,
ball.
you know, he did a lot of crap shit. Like even so.
We got the lawyer for
Yeah, I'll tell you. So, you know, again, I smacked him and shit, and I gave him an opportunity to have a fair one. Like Pop smacked him and was like, "Yo," he asked me, he said, "Yo, did you just smack me?" And I was like, "Yeah, nigga." And ain't nothing between us but the win. I'll give you a fair one.
Whoa. You slapped the shit out of him. He asked you, did you just slap
I
him?
had a Frank Mueller, a left, tap, and that shit broke. I remember
He
it.
asked you,
And my cousin Darren just closed the door. Boom. You know what I'm saying? It was all in there. You know, but I was like, don't touch him. Let that man, because you know, I know how he is. He calls the police. You know what I mean? Because again, he had just sued Puff for that money, for cracking him in the head with the bottle. So he really sued Puff, he testified. So for me, when I would see him in public, I'd be like, yo, you a snitch. You know, and even though it's not street rules, like to me, if you're gonna be around street guys, then
still the
you kind
problem.
of have to respect a certain kind of rule. Like you don't. Number one, you don't try to put people in jail.
No.
You know, so I didn't like that, and I'd be on the red carpet at Cipriani's. I'm like, oh, he's a rat, and you know, people go, why? And I'd say it, like, yeah, he's a rat. You know, he's a rat. But to me, that's my opinion.
I mean,
Period. But so I smacked him, and I know that because he's not man enough to give a fair one. And again, it's too late now. I'm 52. I don't care if you worked out, did Tybo. We're done. You know what I'm
I
saying?
wonder if he's still gonna ask you, did you smack me?
Well, we had other interactions though. So from that day on, I think since he got smacked, it's been a little sneaky kind of a thing to try to get people not to fuck with me and put things in the pressing. And if you look at his body of work, pause, like the people that he's done business with, you can ask those people what kind of guy he is. Like nobody really fucks with Steve except like certain people. You know what I mean?
Because he started to say that on the interview that the people in your that you were affiliated with in your camp will want to go see other people, but now it's coming to light like that
What is he
was
talking
religion.
about? Yeah, what was again? None of his business. Any Rockefeller business that he see, it's funny to me. People like, yo, you keep talking about Jay. First of all, I talk about a lot of people. It's because y'all are so scared to say anything about that man. When his name is said, everyone gets crazy. But I do believe that the people that say that are actual people trolling. That's what I would do if I was a coward. Is I'd go to somebody else and make a comment like that to
Everybody
make a
tough
narrative.
behind a keyboard.
Yes, I don't believe. I believe it's just like a camp and a campaign because I don't see why. If that's my actual, I don't talk about what that man's doing. I'm talking about what he did
Things that happen.
that happened
Yeah.
with my memory.
Yeah.
So I talk about Kanye, I talk about Kevin Hart, I talk about Irv, I talk about everybody that I have actual experience about.
Personal,
So
yeah,
and
personal
I did a
experience.
lot of business with him. So of course, if I'm talking about I agree to it, but he ain't got to explain that to you. It's none of your business.
Yeah.
So that's everybody I was crazy. So he's been one. If you want to know who the conspiracy is, from my perspective, based on what I've been told and heard, it was Leor, Steve Stoute. They used Jay-Z to do what they needed to do. Todd Moskowitz, and a couple of other punk ass niggas that I probably don't even know. But I can personally say that when I ask L.A. Reid, he'll tell me, yo, that was Steve Stoute. When I ask Steve Stoute, he'll tell me, yo, you know Jay's the one that set that meeting up with Leor, or set that meeting up that you was yelling at. Like, they all snitch on each other.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the crazy
They,
part.
they don't
about
care,
it.
bro. There's no honor amongst these thieves. And when I say thieves, let me ask you a question. You ever seen a video of Steve Stoute dancing? Or Paul's even knowing how to bob his head to a beat? No. He's not a creative person. So I just feel like a guy like that resents everybody creative that took his girl. Obviously, it's on his mind because he brought it up. But at the end of the day, Steve, leave me the fuck alone, bro. Right? You know, it's over, man. I smacked you. Oh, and another thing is, I ran into him once in a dark block
Yeah.
with Rocky and this other girl. And
Your wife and
when I was walking past him, because we both lived in Tribeca, he lived up the block. He's walking with this girl, muscular with a bald head or whatever. And no disrespect to her at all. She was a good-looking woman, but she looked strong. And
how much you bench?
I don't know, but she was toned. I remember her arms was out. So he walking up, and I'm seeing this nigga. I just put out this Currency record, and I'm about to wash this nigga. Like, I got this nigga, because I know everything he's done. And I always tell people that to evolve, there's always, like, to get from one A to B, for your dream to come true, there's always a test. You got to pass the test. And it always happens right when some good shit's about to happen. You got to watch that test. I just said it, gave a whole meeting about it. Then here comes the test. So I'm walking up, and Rocky goes, or Mackenzie, one of them goes, Dame, don't forget about the test. So I walk past, I said, yeah, fuck, he's right. So I walk past him, and we're looking at each other and shit. And I'm like, you bitch ass nigga, you snitch, right? And he with a girl. I'm like, yo, you walking with a rat? Like, that's how I would, he's a rat, right? And he goes, you know what? I thought we took care of you anyway. Meaning all that bullshit, putting the paper and blah, 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 detaching me from my art, all that. That's called torturous interference. There's lawsuits that can come with that. And, I started, yeah, that's why you bitch ass, you rat. He couldn't take it no more. So he kind of charges at me. And the girl jumps in and literally punches him in his face about 6 times. Boop, boop, boop. Little white girl. Hits her like 6 times. Word. Like he's all disheveled shit. And then, so I'm like, all right, come on. But he's like, and the girl grabs the girl that I'm with. And this is like, she goes, you better get your man, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, she wasn't scared of nothing. But I'm like, yo, cause I know this girl. You know, I'm like, don't swing on her. Like relax.
Yeah.
Right? So then he starts to come back at me again. And I'm like, all right. And Rocky jumps in front of him and he kind of pushes her on the floor. So I'm like, yo, you just pushed a woman on the floor. You know what I'm saying? And you just told on Puffer hitting you in the head with a bottle. Y'all could tell on that nigga. I'm laughing at him. I'm like, you know, I'm not going to say nothing because he do nothing to me. They civilian. So the police come. He trying to run to his house. He looking all stupid. And I'm like, don't try to go nowhere. We know where you live. Right? So the police come. I'm laughing so hard because she's looking so stupid that they're going to arrest me. So I guess they wrote it up. But long story short, he had to give 10 grand for that. So we definitely sent him a little lawsuit real fast. Now, I don't even want to go through it with you. Send some money over. You know, me and Rocky wasn't even like that at the time, but I didn't like that he pushed a woman on the floor. You know what I mean? But he did pay, and you could ask him about it. But he did pay because he pushed a woman on the floor, and we went and bought a dog, and we tricked all that money, bought computers and all that, had fun with it. So good looking for that, you know what I mean? But either way, that's the kind of nemesis. That's what we have. So you got to think he took a smack and all this other shit. So his thing was, yo, I'll just fuck your career up as far as your relationship with Jay and blah, blah, blah. The problem with being, having an artist like that, so many other people want to be his partner. So a lot of people try to, like, say you're not doing what you're supposed to do so that they could come in and do it for you.
Yep. So that was it. That was part of the game. Is to make you believe that you would have something so much greater if this person wasn't here. So they just wanted to move Dame out the way so that he can come on in. Because Jay is not somebody who's very confident. As I tried to tell people before, he's not a very confident man, especially when it comes to those type of decisions. So if you take talking about Jay-Z in that kind of fashion, you know, get ready. Because you're screwing yourself up more than anything. I know. Right? So, anyway, I'm going to dip out for a minute. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Deuces.